Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel. Survival story of narcissism continues. Let me just first say thank you for watching my videos. If you've watched any of the other videos, you know that I am going through a narcissistic divorce. It's 2024, it's June, and I started this process of divorce. I filed in November and I left him in October. So literally I filed pretty much right away. But what happened was I didn't plan well. So I want to talk about what happens to your body physically when you have autoimmune illness, like I have lupus, or when you have any kind of illness or no illness, and you have to deal with narcissism. It can cause a lot of damage to your body. So I am outpatient, getting a lot of things done for my body. I'm on short-term disability right now because of my health issues. But working and going into the workplace when I've been an entrepreneur and I really was not doing like breadwinning. I wasn't like the breadwinner of the house. My husband was. And I was pretty much taking care of the kids for 20 years. We met in 1999 and it is 2024. We married in 2020. I'm sorry, we married in 2002. So during that time, we lived together. 3 months after we met, I believe, we moved in together. And so we lived together for like 2 years before we got married. But through all that, I had health issues. So I've always had lupus. I've always had health issues, but I didn't know about my lupus diagnosis in the beginning. All I knew was I had a lot of like problems with my thyroid. I had problems with, I have nodules on my thyroid. I also had problems with my heart. I had problems with my blood pressure. I had 5 miscarriages trying to have my daughters. I went through a lot of debilitating problems with my health. I had kidney cancer. So I went through a lot during our marriage. And you would think that if I leave you, we're getting a divorce because literally fighting was making it impossible for me to live without peace. And it almost was like, I can say this, I blame myself because I was hurting myself. I would smoke cigarettes sometimes, and I would, try to, not just one or two, just smoke, knowing that it could cause me to have a heart attack. Like I did a lot of things to my body, that was not good for me. Like I missed appointments with my doctors. I would not take my medication. They called me a non-compliant lupus patient. I'll never forget, I went to the ER and he told me, the doctor said, you're being non-compliant, so this is in your hands, getting well. And my husband turned that against me, saying, see, this is your fault. This is your fault why you're sick. You don't listen to the doctors. You don't take your medicine. You're too worried about the steroids making you fat, but you're not concerned about getting healthy. And I would feel like, okay, now I feel like really bad because I'm not taking my medicine. But the side effects of the medicine and getting fat did make me feel more insecure. So, it was a lot of, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing well enough. That made me feel like, why take the medication? Like, there's no end, there's no cure for lupus. And so there was a lot of depression. I was on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication. I was not sleeping. I may got 2 hours of sleep, and I would get up and I would take care of my daughters, put them to work. Put them to school, and then get home and try to study for work, for what I'm doing now, or trying to just do some work around the house and push through the day. So my body began to get to the point where it was fighting with me to survive. Like my body was saying, oh, you're not going to stop? Okay, we're going to stop you. Like we're going to, no. You can't do this. We're going to stop you. And how my body would stop me is I would have diverticulitis, acute diverticulitis, expansive diverticulitis. And it's really a serious condition when it continues to the point where you just can't like eat anything. I would have ventricular tachycardia. That's a very fast heart rate that can turn into ventricular fibrillation, which can turn into death. And I would have atrial fibrillation. Like, I had so many things going wrong with my body, and I was never like supported in that. My ankles would swell, like it looked like I had like basically like a baseball at the ball of my feet. It was horrible. The things that my body was showing, like you're not gonna walk because your legs won't work, or you'll fall down because your blood pressure is so high. My blood pressure would be like 200 over 112. Like, it would be super high. I remember one time I had a TIA, which is a mini stroke. I mean, I went through so much, and my body just kept saying, no more, no more. So your body, through this narcissistic abuse, even though you're not being punched regularly, the rage, the verbal put downs and arguing and gaslighting, where if you bring up something, they turn it around and make it about like you're the problem. You can't complain about anything. I couldn't make a decision about my daughters doing anything because he would basically veto it. I couldn't make a decision about any kind of financial thing because he wouldn't give me access to the finances. So I never had the ability to say, oh, okay, I'm gonna, go invest into this or do this. I couldn't do it. He wouldn't allow it. So feeling trapped, it was just my day to day. And once you get free of that and your body says, okay, you can actually rest, it's like, I have no desire for cigarettes. I have no desire for doing anything to harm myself. I have no desire for even eating the wrong foods that might, trigger my diverticulitis. Like, I really want to be able to live. But the hardest part about going through this is I've spent 25 years being a mother, and now I have to figure out how to take care of myself. And that's not just taking care of myself like, getting a job. I got a job, thank God. I went to school and I got a job, which is good. But I've got to take care of myself, like make sure the bills get paid, make sure the car gets fixed, and not have anyone to help me, And I'm not just talking about a husband, I'm talking about my children. And I have been missing them when they're not with me because they chose to be with their father because he will give them whatever they want. And I don't have the finances that he does. So my children are older though, so it's not like they're little. They're, 20 in their 20s and late teens. So basically, I'm just saying the hard part is taking care of yourself. That is the hard part. It's hard to take care of yourself when you're going through narcissistic abuse, and it's hard to take care of yourself once you've left the abusive situation, because now you realize you got to live for yourself. And it's difficult sometimes. It really is, when you have to take your medication. Like, what am I, I've lived for my daughters and my sons all my life. Everything was around their calendar. Now it's got to be like, I'm in a house by myself, and I used to cook a big pan of lasagna. Who's going to eat that? I'm not going to eat all that, So now I've got to figure out what I want to eat. And even though it's exciting and it's new and it's interesting, it's also difficult and lonely because you did love that family that you had, and you did love having the time with your children, the good times, with no conflict. When the conflict came, it was like, oh, now we have to get through this, but then we're gonna go into like there'll be a makeup at some point. Like we have this horrible rage, this horrible fighting every 3 months, like clockwork, but then we make up after a while and everything is good again. And going on that roller coaster for 20 something years, it's hard to like get off and realize, I have outpatient tests I got to get done, and that's why I'm doing a video. Like I said, every time I have to do a video, I'm gonna do a video before I go and to the hospital, or before I go and take a test for blood work or whatever. I'm gonna focus on myself for just a little bit of time and do this YouTube video to tell other people, so I can be like letting you know you're not alone. Even though you might feel like you're alone, you're not alone. But you gotta take care of yourself. You gotta take care of your body, because if you don't take care of your body during the narcissistic abuse and during the healing, it will start to shut down. It will start to kill you. And that is the greatest joy for the narcissist. So if you want to like really like get to the narcissist, like be happy for him when he has his new partner, when he has someone that he can actually move that, narcissistic abuse to. Not that you want to wish that on anyone, but be happy that you are alone. Be happy that you're able to take care of yourself when you can. And don't get caught in that loneliness, in that sadness. I remember one time we had an argument. He said, you're going to be alone. You're going to be sad because the girls aren't going to want to be with you. They're going to be with me, and no one's going to want to be with you. And I thought to myself, well, at least I can depend on myself and God. So that's what I do. I pray. I love Dr. Romney's book, It's Not You. Reminds me that I'm not crazy, that all the things that have happened are very characteristic of narcissism. And he's like literally proving the point. Like literally, he's proving the point that she makes every time we go to court and everything else. So my next video is going to be about court and things that are going on in court with me. But I wanted to just say, please take care of yourself and your body, because being a patient at the hospital, outpatient or inpatient, they're going to make sure they take care of you. They do take good care of you. And I'm very grateful for the nursing staff and for all the doctors. But you got to take care of yourself. You got to get that test done, get that anxiety medication or medication for whatever headache you might have or blood pressure problem or whatever. Those things that are stress related, you need to take care of them, because if you don't, if you don't, you're going to reward the narcissist, because you won't be here, and that's his reward. So instead, reward yourself and be a survivor. Survive this. You got it. Survive it.